to T.D.T Talk, where we tell you
the damn truth.
Welcome to the truth, where the truth don't lie.
All right, co-host, welcome to the truth, where the truth don't lie. What it is?
Hello.
How are ya?
Girl, I'm good today. I've been looking forward to this. We get to teach. We get to teach.
We get to provide the community with some education. Yes. Look, y'all come on in the room. Give us a hi, hello. Let us know who is with us tonight. What up, y'all? What up? Look, co-host. Let's go ahead and get it started.
All right.
All right, we ready? All right. Welcome to T.D.T Talk, where we tell you
the truth behind mental health.
Oh, let's try that again, because this isn't just mental health.
I feel like I need to switch it.
I mean, no, that was good, but it isn't just mental health, though.
Okay, you're right. Let's try it one more time.
All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to T.D.T Talk, where we tell you
the damn truth about mental health in the Black community.
There it is, y'all.
Boom.
All right, we bringing it to you. Who we got with us tonight? What up, LaSwain? B. Jennings. Hey, Shell. Ava. Oh, look. Somebody is good for my self-esteem. I'm trying to tell you what I know. I'm trying to tell you.
You are annoying. I'm mad that we're low-key in formation. You got the yellow and I got the green with the damn cream. Like, we looking real good. We looking good.
I'll take it. Yes. All right. Tonight we got a serious topic. I don't know. I think all of our topics are serious. We just have our own little spin about how we make them fun and interesting, right?
Exactly.
But tonight we're going to talk about mental health symptoms and how they look different in Black people. Not that we're trying to single Black people out in any kind of way, but the truth is mental health symptoms present differently in different groups of people. And we're Black and we're talking about Black people tonight. That is.
That's the only race I know. I know Black, bougie Black, Black, ghetto Black,
Blickety
running
Black.
from the police Black, blickety Black. So I only know Black and Black adjacent. That's all I know, y'all. That's all I know.
Black and Black adjacent. What up, Stephen Harris? All right. So, did you give our like and subscribe thing? Because you do really good at that, asking people to like and subscribe and share.
Yes. So, y'all, as you know, this topic is about to be real dope because a lot of y'all have these symptoms and don't even know that it's a mental health issue. So before we proceed, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you know when this good mental health content is being presented. Because, baby, we're not getting paid. We do this for the love of the people. Damn it, monetize us. Make us great again, okay? Shoot.
This good mental health. Mental health. Look, I'm not just gonna be like, before we proceed to give you what you need.
What you need, baby. I should have.
Hey, I thought we was going with I was waiting. Ready.
I like that. I'm gonna have to use that next time.
All right. So where are we gonna start? Because this is a big topic. It's a big topic. We're gonna jump right in. Where you want to start?
I got some statistics that I think people really need to know about, especially as it pertains to the melanin. I really have a lot of statistics. And then, y'all, I'm about to break down anxiety because I know a few of y'all that are watching. Y'all have some anxious features, and it's time that you know what it is.
Some anxious presentations. Okay.
Yes, it's time that you know, and knowing is half the battle.
All right, let's go.
All right. So, all of my statistics can be found. Y'all already know I love to come with receipts. So, I
forgot the trigger warning.
Please give the trigger.
All right. So, in all things mental health, there are possibilities that you could be triggered by the things Carl and I talk about tonight. If that does happen, no worries. Please contact us. We will get you in contact with someone who can help you with these symptoms that you are experiencing. Okay. Thank you.
That sounded real good. Okay. So my statistics can be found in the American Psychological Association, the Department of Psychiatry, Treatment Advocacy Center, and you said what?
You better come with it.
Oh,
Okay.
girl, because I'm on point, baby. I'm on point. And the last two are found from the International Journal of Health Services, Planning, Administration, and Evaluation, and lastly, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So, kicking it off, individuals identifying as being two or more races 24.9% are most likely to report having mental health disorder within the past year than any other race or ethnic group, followed by American Indian, Alaskan Natives, 22.7, white, 19%, black, 16.8. So that's the first one. So I was very interested to know that when I think of two or more races, I'm thinking black and white. So we have the biracials, we have the like Dominican and Chinese. You know, they be making some real pretty babies. So those biracials are at a higher rate than really any of us. And I really thought that that was really interesting as we proceed. The next one suggests Black American adults are 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems, such as major depressive disorder or generalized anxiety disorder. Another interesting take, because a lot of us have those symptoms or presenting problems, and we just mark it off as something that we gain from our moms, our grandmas, our daddies.
That's what they
Um,
tell us, right? Yeah. It's
that
hereditary.
part. That part. And so, according to a 2019 study, African Americans have the highest lifetime prevalence of PTSD, 8.7, compared to their whites, 7.4, Latin, 7%, Asian, 4%. Y'all, and PTSD, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with that, that is post traumatic stress disorder. And if we just look back, starting from Trayvon Martin, a young soul taken out at an early age in his life, he didn't even make it to adulthood. If we think about watching those video footages of that, that within itself is a form of PTSD. Why, you ask? Because we keep seeing it. It didn't stop there. And if we want to take it even further back, kind of dating myself, the ass whooping that Rodney King received on live television on the highway, like we can really spark it back because that, first of all, that ass whooping was uncalled for, and to watch it. To watch it was very traumatizing. And I remember seeing it and people whispering in the hallways, because y'all know I went to a white school in my elementary days. And I was the only Black child in a school full of white folks. And people was asking me, was that my cousin? I I I don't know him. I don't know him. King of the Rodney.
These were
No
kids
clue.
at elementary school.
Exactly, but still did not know them.
Yeah.
So it's trauma. We experience it daily. When you start your ignition and the police get behind you, we have made jokes. Y'all know I'm real good because, baby, I will turn Caucasian when the police get behind me. I sit upright. My eyes are focused. My hands are at 10 and 2. 10 and 2, and I will turn down the music, and it could be a thumper. I'll be in there, Mo 3 in it. Kevin Gates. Shout out to Swain. I'll be bumping my music, my R&B. But when the police get behind me, it's an alarming fear that kind of engulfs my body because I want to make it home to my family. I know my license, my L's is good. I know my insurance is up to date. I know this vehicle is paid for in my name. But that fear that comes over me anytime the police get behind me, that's that's stressful.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up the Rodney King beating and then follow that up with how you feel when the cops get behind you, because those are totally related. But here's the thing with trauma and PTSD. People often think that the trauma has to happen directly to you in order for you to experience symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's not true at all. So
Nope.
trauma, it can be experienced, right? It can also be witnessed, and you can also hear about it. So you can be traumatized in all of those ways. So
Mm-hmm.
us seeing Rodney King get beat, I saw it. I saw
Mm-hmm.
it over and over and over and over and over again. And this is happening to someone who looks just like you. Apparently, I mean, the man wasn't doing nothing in that little Hyundai. And
Baby, it was struggling on the highway.
it does evoke a sense of fear in you that makes you feel like, okay, well, this can happen to me too. And
That
that
part.
is, witnessing it does cause you to develop trauma or PTSD.
Yep. All right, I got two more for y'all. Racial trauma. Oh Lord, my co-host then went out. She'll be back as we wait for her to come on back. Um,
Hold on.
so racial trauma can increase the risk of people risk the risk of people of color meeting the criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. Stress plays a crucial role in how racism impacts both mental and physical health. So just going off of what Sharon was saying, it can be lived. It can be a lived experience. It can be something that you have witnessed. And y'all know media propaganda is bad about showcasing these acts that are happening, be it unarmed Black men being shot and killed by officers sworn to protect and serve, be it the stand your ground law and everybody finding a loophole when it's beneficial to them. It even comes from a young Black child going to pick up his siblings, knocking on the wrong door, and getting shot in his head.
Mhm.
So, the trauma, that stress, we see it all the time. It happens to our cousins. It happens to a friend. It just keeps happening in a disproportionate manner that affects us. Even when you think it doesn't, we've become desensitized because this week, name the next brother that just got shot. That's how it feels. That's what's being visible on a day-to-day basis. The last one that I have, the lack of cultural understanding by healthcare providers may contribute to underdiagnosing and or misdiagnosing of mental illness in people from racial or ethnical diverse population. And I, as a clinician, pride myself. It doesn't matter if you Black or white, Michael Jackson it. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, blind, gay, straight, obese, anorexic. It doesn't matter. I pride myself in my diagnosis because that label is a stigma all on its own. Nobody wants to be diagnosed with bipolar. Nobody wants to be diagnosed with any type of disorder, especially the most common ones that have a negative stereotype attached to it. So I pride myself in getting to know my clients. When I'm in my session, your time is for you. I don't have any other distractions. I want to get to know you. Break down your biopsychosocial. Let me understand what it looks like to walk a mile in your shoes. So that way, as I'm processing it, a good clinician begins to hear your story. We're walking that journey with you. And in that time, again, a good clinician, little alarms start to go off. Okay, you were sexually abused. Okay, so now I have a trauma. Now I have to, that's being registered in my mind. Okay, well, because you were sexually abused, did you adjust to normalcy after that? Did you heal? Did anything come from that? So now we might have an attachment, or not an attachment, an adjustment. Then we may have social anxiety if the sexual abuse happened in a public place. There's so many alarms and red flags that go off in a good clinician that you were able to deduce. We have this big book. I've been always wanting to show y'all. I've been wanting to show. This is my Bible. Okay, shout outs to these people at the American Psychiatric Association. This ain't no plug, but this is the Bible that I live by. Y'all, I got bills in here, post-it notes, baby. I use my DSM-5 to make sure you meet the criteria, because I don't want to have my name attached to a documentation, a living documentation that is beneficial for 365 days. I don't want my name associated to something and it be misdiagnosed. Now you've hurt yourself. You've hurt someone else. And before those actions happen, you came and saw me. Baby, no. Because if you act a certain way, I'm gonna respond a certain way, and I'm gonna make sure I respond for your safety.
Amen.
So, what you think, Sharon? There was some facts. There was some facts there.
There were some facts, and I missed some pieces of what you spoke about, but all true. All true. And I'm going to touch on some of that too when I start talking about some of these symptoms and how we get misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed and those type of things. Did you talk about how it's in our DNA?
I did not get there because I knew you were going to touch on it. I just wanted to give some statistical facts before we proceeded. So you give us the DNA.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you get the DNA. I'm going to talk about some of these symptoms, and then you can wrap it up and put a little bow on it and tell us why it's so deep in our core.
And just so y'all know, baby, I'm going to talk about some of these anxiety disorders. See, I just gave y'all the statistics of things, but I got more for you, so buckle up. But go ahead, Sharon. I want to hear your voice.
Knowledge is power. So the National Alliance of Mental Illness is a great resource, y'all. So NAMI. One thing that I found very, very interesting, and it's an area of interest for me specifically because I'm a Black female, and I know that Black females, we carry a lot of stress. And we carry it very well. We carry it so well that we are misrepresented in some of those statistics, Carl, that you did give us. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I found is that, just Black people in general may be more likely to identify and describe physical symptoms related to mental health problems. So whenever you go to the doctor or whenever you think about how you're feeling, okay, I may have like aches and pains. So I may have this pain in my side that just won't go away, or I got this pain in my back, or different areas of my body have been aching, right? Mm-hmm. So when you go to the doctor and you tell them about these aches and these pains, what is the doctor going to do? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 10 times out of 10, but I say 9. Exactly. They're going to treat you for the pain. So here's a pill for that pain that you have, that ache that you have. When really those aches are caused by anxiety, depressed mood, some of these mental illnesses that you are actually experiencing, if they were to ask a little more questions, but they present in our bodies a little differently. So in Black people, it may feel like an ache or a pain. Where other people may say, oh, I've been sad, extreme sadness, I can't get out of bed, lack of motivation. I don't find joy or interest in the things that I used to love. As Black people, our struggle is a little different. Even though we don't feel like getting out of bed, we have so much responsibility, so many people that we carry, so much weight on our shoulders. We will be dog sick still going to work. But guess what? Even when we dog sick going to work, our hair and our nails going to be done. We're going to look good doing it, right? So we appear from the outside as if nothing is wrong, when on the inside, we are truly suffering, not only physically, but also mentally. When we go to the doctor, We don't want to be seen, just period in general, as a culture, due to the stigma in our community, as weak or crazy. So we brush our symptoms off. Some of the trauma that Carl was talking about, we begin to normalize these daily murders. This is now a part of our daily lives, to the point to where we don't flinch, we're not shocked, just waiting on the next one. So we begin to normalize these things that if they happen in other cultures, they would be visibly affected. Whereas you can't tell. We could be working 3 jobs and you would never know. So the responsibility that we have, that drive that we have to keep going, because we got bills, we got people to take care of, we have all of this stress. The black women, we have on the superhero cape. We got to be everything and anything to any and everybody. And we always have to appear, the outside always has to appear strong and well put together. That is why we go undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, or underdiagnosed. And then when we do start to share some of our symptoms, right, we're talking to people who are not culturally competent. And then when they diagnose us with things like schizophrenia, when actually I'm just kind of talking to myself, working things out, working things through, because I got 11 things going on in my head. There's no other person I'm talking to, different things like that. If it gets real deep, we won't go quite that deep. Carl, I'm gonna let you take a little more deepness on that. But when we are expressing some of our symptoms, they are often missed or taken for something else. I don't know why my computer keeps shutting off. Can you see or hear me?
I can still hear you and see you.
Oh, child, look, my screen keep going black. I'm gonna need you not to do that. Okay. So now we have stigma and perception, right? So or we hit on that about us having that stigma, feeling weak. But yeah, Carl, so that's where we are. Minimizing our symptoms, our traumas become a normal part of our life. We minimize our symptoms, not knowingly. It's just that we are so used to the heavy burden of life that it's just another day for us. Whereas for other cultures, a normal day for us is like the end of the world for them. And now they have suicidal ideation, all this other stuff. It's very extreme. Where we're like, well, I ain't never had nothing much anyway, so this ain't too far from where I remember I have been before.
Familiarity.
This is very familiar to me, so I can handle this. I'm okay. Whereas anybody else, if they actually experience the things that we experience as Black people, they would literally crumble and fall apart. And we know this statistically to be true.
Very much so. Okay. You got more for me? Because I'm good to go.
Let's go to the comments. What we got in the comments? Y'all with us tonight? LaSwain says, suffering in silence is a choice. Carrying that burden alone is a choice. It's not okay. Carl, LaSwain, I absolutely agree with you. One of my quotes is, it is never okay. It is never okay to feel like you have to navigate this world alone. Who told you you have to navigate this world alone? Nobody. We believe as a culture that we can't ask anybody for help. We have to do everything all by ourselves. Partner mindset, we really don't have it. These are things that generationally were taken from us, and now we've carried this burden, and here we are thinking that we do have to hide how we're truly feeling when that's not true. So, LaSwain, I absolutely agree. You're choosing to go through this by yourself because you don't have to.
And I just want to add on there, going with what you said, add to the fact that your family has conditioned you and conditioned us. I think me and you, I can speak for Sharon even for this. I feel we've been taught since we were young The world is not built for you. That is a disclaimer that we tell our kids. This world is not built for you. So, with having that drilled into your mindset, on top of feeling like it's okay to suffer in silence, because again, we've been conditioned. What go on in this home stays in this home. That is one of the golden rules in Black families. What happens in this house stays in this house. Don't be out in these streets running around and telling people my business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're conditioned. We're being conditioned at an early age not to snitch. Snitches get stitches and wind up in 7-foot ditches. These are the antidotes that we've been conditioned with since birth. And then to add insult to injury, this world's not built for you. So a
Yeah.
lot of us have been taught how to navigate in survival, and that's all we know. And that tradition is being passed down to the next generation, the next generation. As Black people, y'all, and even those that are on the show tonight, that are watching, that are, our what is it, partners in crime, so to speak, when it comes to this, we appreciate y'all. We need y'all's help too. But we have to understand that there's more to a person than just presenting problems. There's
Yeah.
more to an individual than what they bring to surface. We are conditioned not to talk. We're conditioned at an early age not to talk to strangers. Dang show not to talk to no white folks asking you a bunch of questions about what's going on in this house. And run your mouth if you want to. You still got to come home.
I do some of those things. I will say, I have shared with my own kids, but in a different way. But as a therapist, we, I think I just have that little, step ahead to where I know better with
Yeah.
my own kids. But I love this, B. Jennings. Our culture is so selfish with emotions. That is so true. That is so true. We are scared to tell, like, parents. There are still parents who don't tell their children that they love them,
Mhm.
and then that child grows up not knowing how to express the emotion of love, doesn't know how to give love, doesn't know how to receive love, doesn't know how to talk about love. So these things are very important. I love that. Shell says, but that is taught in our homes. What happens in this house is absolutely.
Very much.
Swain says, not anymore. This new generation of parents actually care about how their children feel. It's a great thing because it reduces stress. At least that's what I've come to realize. I see that some, but there is still a large number. I mean, it is thick in our culture with these kids that I work with. The stories that I hear every day. It is changing. I am glad that it is changing.
Hmm.
And people are becoming more mental health friendly, I think, and more open to these conversations. But we still have such a ways to go.
That part.
Snitching can get you, can get you. What's the K?
You, the girl,
K?
killed.
Oh,
Killed. It should get you killed.
the K word. I'm sorry. Not all households, unfortunately. Some households still are stuck in the past. Very true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, because you said that, I'm going to bring it up because y'all know me. I have been researching and researching and researching. So, there is a theory called the intergenerational trauma theory. And this theory explains that a trauma that is experienced by one person in the family, for example, your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your grandpappy, can be passed down to future generations because of the way that trauma um, epigenetically alters genes. So I wanted to think about that. I wanted to really dive into that and get a better understanding. Y'all remember them carbon papers we used to use as kids? You
Mhm.
put that little white piece of paper over and you do your little thing, and it'll show you what was underneath it that you didn't even see before. That's how I like to think about genetical trauma.
Okay.
It leaves an echo on your psyche. It's passed down trauma. A lot of people are trying to rebuttal that. A lot of people are trying to say, nah, it's not really possible. But the proof is in the pudding. It's in the pudding. It's showing us that any Black person that you come across with, I don't care if you lined up 10 random Black people, how the police walk behind them in their peripheral, not even directly in front of them, but in their peripheral, and see if their posture doesn't change.
Can we take a poll? I'm not scared of the cops.
I ain't scared of the cops, but I don't want to talk to the cops either.
They don't bother
I'm
me.
not scared of the cops. I'm scared of if that cop had a bad day. I'm scared if the wife withheld the loving from him. Now he pissed off at the world. That's what I'm scared of.
I get that, but I'm wondering. Okay, maybe it's just okay. I was just wondering, is everybody that fearful of the cops when they get behind them?
But I also think it's
Not every,
different.
but a large majority.
I also think it's different versus male and female.
What y'all say in the comments? Let me know. What y'all say?
Yeah, let us know. Do you feel like there's a divide?
The police.
Is there a gender divide amongst being fearful of the popos?
Let's say our generation is playing catch up. We have to adapt to change with the times. Absolutely, I agree. I worked with some bad off kids back in the day. The key again is equity for youth. Absolutely, B. Jennings, because when you don't have resources and you don't have access to things, and you'll do things right. Stephen, epigenetics. So Carl, you have to break that down. Break that down again. Break it down in regular people terms.
Epigenetics. So it is theorized that trauma, in Black people, we have a gene called the Eve gene. That is what allows us to absorb the melanin. So aside from the Eve gene, it is being theorized that the epigenetic gene is what passes down specific types of trauma. It focuses on, because your great 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 granddaddy got beat as a slave, you being the fourth great grandchild, you will have a certain fear when placed in a certain situation, be it a whooping, be it crowds, be it any sort of traumatic event. Your body will react not knowing why. So it's almost like, instead of thinking about it as a trauma gene, it's more of a defense mechanism gene that gives you that fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah, it's like it's hidden, like it lays dormant, but it can be activated if you experience some type of trauma.
Yep.
Or trigger. Yeah. LaSwain, it's passed down, but we have to break it. I agree. And I believe that we can absolutely break it in our behaviors, just going about things and doing things a little different mental health wise. Talking about it is number one.
That part.
I'm not scared, but I'm also what?
We ain't gonna use the R word on the show. That is offensive to people.
I'm gonna up them more. I cannot with it. I wouldn't say fear, it's anxiety. Okay, we don't know if we will make it home. Okay.
That part.
LaSwain, does the skin tone determine the trauma?
Trauma's trauma. Trauma doesn't have a skin tone deterrent. It doesn't matter of your height or your weight. Trauma's trauma.
Yeah. B. Jennings says, I'm calm with police. I just don't take no ish. Let them know what's in the car and drive safely. Yeah. LaSwain, the more melanated, the more trauma.
So I wouldn't say the more melanated, the more trauma. I honestly believe, because if you really go into your genetical background, some may not have been slaves in the South. They could have been slaves of the North. They could have been slaves overseas. There's a very different culture surrounding slavery. I learned that even slavery in the US looked a lot different than slavery in France, slavery in Canada. Slavery was really different, but the Americas, they took slavery to a new level. And I've really dove into this for the past 3 weeks now, knowing that there was such a thing called animal farming. I didn't know that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And when I researched more and learned more about that, to know that you as a husband, you as a son, you as a daughter, wife, could have been taken and put in, pretty much we're going to call it a holding cell, one of the little stallion cells, and forced to breed 16, 17, 20 children, be it by your daddy, be it by your cousin, be it by your boyfriend's daddy. That's traumatic in itself. And knowing that we were not just, we were below animals. Animals had more rights than us. We were less than. And to know that they were able to monetize on our reproduction, that trauma alone really, like, I had to take a moment to really just reflect, like, wow, a Black woman bear the weight of a lot of stuff. And we always want to focus on Black women being the least protected. I will definitely agree that Black women are the least protected, but to add to that, a Black man's mind is the least protected and vulnerable because a lot of people don't care. We're expected to be a certain way. And if you're not, you're labeled, you're judged, you're ridiculed. Nobody ever wants to talk about a Black man's mind. It's always the value, the worth. And I really think that we need to begin to change that narrative. But we ain't going to go, y'all, I'll go down this rabbit hole with y'all. I'm passionate about this one.
Yeah. So Shell says trust with law enforcement for our culture is difficult because of history and present situation. I do believe there is a gender divide between male and female. They are more aggressive towards male. I agree with that. That's true.
Amen.
Jenny, sorry for more. It's all good, dog. Trauma is passed on proximity to traumatic situations. See, you can be goofy and look at educated.
And educated.
Flame, you just proved my point.
The skin tone wars started based off of how melanated you were or you weren't. So the trauma will be different. And so I would say that trauma is more cultural trauma because we already know the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The lighter the skin, Drake will induce. We just, it's it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's bad that even amongst us, we were divided. And I really think that was a way to pit us against each other. You have the white master raping the dark berry. Now she done produced this high yellow translucent child. And then, it is what it is. This girl got good hair, all of that stuff. And so it put a divide because she wasn't out in the sun. She wasn't baking. They taught her enough to read and present well. So yeah, there is a pigmentation divide with trauma. I can definitely see that.
I mean, if you think about it, you had the field Negroes and you had the house Negroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about how it's activated in a gene. So the gene passed down from the field Negroes, or you would probably have it more prevalent. The gene would probably be more prevalent in the field Negroes because they were the ones who were treated the harshest, and it has to be activated on that gene. So yeah.
It's like you said it, genetically, the darker you are due to genetics will have more trauma, hence passing it down. And I don't want that to be the main focus because trauma is trauma regardless. And and you have to think about that even then. Your grandfather, your grandmother, how resilient were they? Because just because they had a traumatic experience, were they able to compartmentalize it? Were they able to talk it out amongst them people and have that healing? So some families can be set apart because certain things don't affect them the way it would affect me or the way that it affects Sharon. So I think resilience also has a part to play on how a lot of us deal with trauma. Some people can't handle it, and it will take them from being mentally stable to completely off the chart.
Yeah, and then I think we can't narrow it down to, your skin complexion because y'all know we done seen two dark-skinned people have a light-skinned baby. It's genetics, right?
Baby.
Genetics.
That gene.
Really can't narrow it down like that. Carl, I don't like how you skipped, one of the comments.
I skipped. I'm sorry. They was in it. It's rolling. It keep moving. What'd he say? Oh, Father, in the name of Jesus. Moving on. I'm telling you, if you are light or dark and see a person shot, it's no difference in the trauma. You're definitely right. The only thing that sets that apart is how you process it.
Yeah.
Some people, death is familiar. That this ain't nothing new. They've been seeing bodies drop since they was 6. So then he said the treatment is what is color based. Whites can get help easier. Oh, we know that to be the absolute truth.
Yeah, yeah. And then Shell says colorism still is present to this day. Very true.
Amen. Whew. Y'all see these comments. This is what I'm talking about because I got a little bit more. Sharon, you got anything? Because I want to talk about this good old anxiety.
No, I'm good. Go ahead. Look, you got a couple more minutes. Let's talk about anxiety.
All right, y'all. I just want to know, can anybody, our audience, we love y'all being interactive. Can anybody raise a hand, put yes? Let us know if you've ever felt any anxiety. We would love to talk about that, and maybe you'll learn more today, because I have. So there are many types of anxiety disorders, and I'm about to break it down. Agoraphobia. You know what that is, Sharon?
Oh my goodness, agoraphobia. I hate to guess the phobias, but is that the one that's like really weird and it has something to do with dead people?
No.
I'm
No.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Sharon,
Yeah, I
go
don't
to timeout. Go to timeout. All
I don't
right,
like
y'all. Agoraphobia is the fear of space when it's difficult to escape
space. Outer
or
space,
receive
outer
help.
space.
Small spaces. So people, this phobia,
Claustrophobic.
something like that. People tend to avoid specific places or situation. For example, they may avoid crowds or public transportation. Some people become housebound in severe cases. They don't want to be around other people. Those confined death traps is what they start thinking about.
Hmm.
Generalized anxiety disorder. This involves constant worrying over everyday things. So you take the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and you amplify that. The
Hmm.
what ifs. That's the best way I can break down generalized anxiety. What you got, Sharon?
Yeah, I mean that's what it starts with. It starts with excessive worry, but the worry is like real excessive. You begin
Mm-hmm.
to your brain begins to create situations that have not even happened, don't even exist, and you're worrying about this thing that hasn't happened or doesn't exist or never will even happen because your brain is just taking you down that hole.
Yep.
Anticipatory stress leads to it. You're anticipating the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen when I go to the doctor. What's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen when I start school? What is it going to be like when I try to take this test? So anticipating things, anticipatory stress. There's chronic stress. There's so many different types of stress, but it all leads to this severe excessive worry.
Yes. And so the one thing I thought really interesting is this anxiety might not have a clear cause or a trigger. It's just that obsessive worrying of the unknown. That was the best way Sharon said it. So, this chronic condition can cause trouble with your sleeping, irritability, and even muscle tension, having that just you feel on edge
Those
constantly.
those aches and pains we be talking about. Yeah.
That part. The other one, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD is also what it is known as, causes distressing, intrusive thoughts that a person may manage by carrying out repetitive behaviors that provide temporary relief. So these would be those people that are germaphobes, the ones that are constantly washing their hands over and over. And the fear is, I'm going to be sick in the next 2 minutes. Oh my God, I just touched that countertop. I know I got COVID-19. That's that's obsessive compulsive, repetitively doing something for a temporary relief. And it's just a mental temporary relief at that. So, phobias, we already know is the agoraphobia. We have the panic disorder. Panic disorders are prone to panic attacks. These panic attacks cause physical symptoms similar to a heart attack. Baby, I don't know if any of y'all have had a panic attack, but
Mhm.
that feeling is almost as if you're knocking on death's door. You can't grasp the breathing. Your chest is tight, you're sweating, your hands are clenching. Like, a panic disorder is something that a lot of us experience and we don't know why. You could be suffering from a panic disorder.
Mhm.
And if those symptoms that I just told you are something that you experience, it may not be often. A lot of people think you have a panic attack because you walk down the stairs, you're turned around. That's not it.
Yeah.
A panic attack does not happen every 5 seconds, but it's in those moments that your body feels like it's debilitating. It's just a paralyzation over your body that intense and heightens a lot. I can't even finish it. It's a lot. Sherry, you got anyone on anything on that one?
Yeah, for panic, like having panic attacks. Um, Typically, panic attacks are caused due to stored stress in your body. So your body is gonna, you can repress things, you can not deal with things, you can push things down, you can avoid it, you can ignore it. You can have all of this worry, and because we don't stop, we just keep moving through life with all of this baggage we're carrying with us. At some point your body will respond. For some of us, it responds with racing heartbeat. Now you're sweating, cannot catch your breath, feels like it is a panic attack. And then
Mm-hmm.
your body will continue to respond like that until you release some of the stress.
Amen. So the next one we kind of talked about when I mentioned Rodney King, the post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Again, this can PTSD can develop after an accident, an assault, and some don't even know this, but if you experienced a natural disaster, be it a hurricane, a tsunami, earthquake, that can cause PTSD.
Yes.
So don't think that the littlest minute, well, I live in Colorado and there's always snow, there's always a blizzard, baby. It don't matter. What your body regulated as this is too much, it's gonna let you know. One another one that I thought was really interesting was mutism. People who have this rare disorder avoid speaking. Despite having the ability to do so, those with selective mutism are very shy, and the fear of social judgment and embarrassment, it just knocks them on mute. And I know a few people that have that fear of social ridicule, being judged, being the next 2023 meme. And now you just shut down and have nothing to say. Thought that was really interesting.
Look, Carl, total side note, but I I thought I had knocked someone into selective mutism at one point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had to ask the guy. I was like, "Are you mute? Did you go mute?" But I just knocked the cool out of him. That's all it
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, you stupid. Another one is separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is typically common in children, but adults also experience it. So, people with this type of anxiety disorder have an intense fear of separation from people who are close to them and in their lives. One thing that I can relate this to is military families. If you've spent so many years together, there's that strong connection. You love your baby, and they deploy, that can cause separation anxiety because your spouse is your anchor. So now if something goes wrong, you don't have that support system. So it can cause all these emotions that you're not able to deal with in the moment. And lo and behold, that's separation anxiety.
is. This one that is very common, actually. Um,
Mm-hmm.
More common than people think. Whenever parents become empty nesters, right? They send
Mm-hmm.
child off to school and off to college, and that's the first time they've been without their child. They have trouble adjusting to it, sometimes so much to an extreme case to where it
Mm-hmm.
becomes that anxiety, and the child, when the child goes away, that happens. Military kids who join the military, away from their
Mhm.
first time. That student that went off to college and couldn't adjust and adapt and ended back home in 2 weeks,
Mhm.
because having panic attacks and everything, the adjustment just did not work for them. So
Yep.
yeah.
And then the last one I found, just so we can break down these types of anxiety, is social anxiety disorder. People with this anxiety disorder have an intense fear, again, of social interactions. They typically fear social humiliation and worry about judgment from others. So there's a lot of people that don't do large crowds because it could be a concert. That music is now amplified. It's almost as if they can hear every person breathing. All eyes are on them, and nobody is focused on you. But in your mind, everybody is looking, everybody whispering, they're pointing at you. And so now you have an anxiety that happens in specific types of crowds. So I just wanted to share those with you guys because I feel like a lot of us experience anxiety, different forms of anxiety, and we don't know what to do with it or what to even identify it as. So,
Yeah.
um, to break it down just a little further, y'all know I'm said I'm excited today. I get to teach.
Come
So,
on. Come on.
causes for anxiety. Anxiety is a complex mental health issues with many triggers. Some common causes across racial groups include early trauma or abuse, having a parent that is a crack addict or a substance abuser, having a absentee parent that can cause anxiety, being beat with pots, pans. Y'all remember Mommy Dearest? No wire hangers.
Fire hangers.
That's abuse. That can cause anxiety. Family history, including genetic and early environment, being raised in the quote unquote ghetto or low income communities, things of that nature. Being shy, certain medical conditions, including heart problems, thyroid disease. Baby, this can cause anxiety because you have the specific type of fear encompassed by whatever you're going through. Black Americans face several additional risk factors for anxiety, including racial trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Racial trauma, exposure to racism,
Mm-hmm.
racist abuse, the effects of racism,
Constant
such
microaggressions. Mm-hmm.
baby, it's here. It's here. Microaggression, such as fewer opportunities and less safe communities, higher rates of trauma, including sexual assault
Yeah.
and police violence. That causes anxiety. And some of the symptoms can manifest in several different ways. They include obsessive compulsive disorder, all the ones that I listed, post traumatic stress, phobias, generalized anxiety, and the common symptoms physical anxiety, such as a racing heart, such as tension in the chest, butterflies in the stomach. Y'all, we've all experienced that. Let's be honest. It's
Mm-hmm.
TDT, where we tell you the truth. So we've experienced that. Feeling anxious or afraid. We've all experienced that. Feeling irritable or on the edge. Engaging in compulsions such as washing your hands to ease the anxiety. And for other people, tilting that seventh bottle and it's 10 p.m. to ease that pain, smoking that marijuana, that sticky icky, the devil's lettuce to go to sleep to ease the pain. That
Mm-hmm.
is a form of anxiety. That is a form of something to ease that pain, even if it's temporary. Avoiding people and places that remind you of trauma, having trouble concentrating because of distracting anxiety, having specific fears or phobia, developing anxiety and tension related ailments such as tension headaches. How many ladies say they have a tension headache? Fellas, how many of us have had chronic muscle pain? So over time, anxiety can affect a person's health. And Black Americans experience a lot of this, but we chop it up as a day to day. We don't even, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of us won't even go to the doctors and you just coughed up your left lung. Is
Yes.
it our fault? No, it's not our fault. History has shown that we can't trust the medical field like that. So there's a phobia there, there's an anxiety there, and it's because we know what you've done to us.
Mhm.
Girl, I could go on. You let me know because we got
That, and
66.
then some of us are just underinsured, right? We don't have access to the
That part.
resources to be able to even go to the doctor, or it's not it's an inconvenience for us to get to the doctor because maybe we're working all the time. So many barriers, so many barriers. But the physiological symptoms, I love how you touched on that for sure, because how many of us have had these aches and pains? We go to the doctor can't find nothing. They have tested you from head to toe for everything, but you still
Mm-hmm.
haven't actually still hurting all over your body. All these things are still happening to you. Y'all, it's stress. Stress is still the number one killer. They don't want to talk about it, but
Oh,
stress is the number one killer.
and it's in the findings, y'all. It doesn't matter your age and it does not matter your gender. Y'all, Black people, we live shorter lives than white folks. Why? Because we stress from A to Z.
And
Literally,
also, and also because of adverse childhood experiences, right? So
that part.
we have experienced things culturally between the ages of 0 and 18 that were traumatic, whether it was our parents being parents were abusive, parents were physically abusive towards us and to each other, a lot of yelling and screaming in the home, parents using drugs and alcohol around us,
Mm-hmm.
all these things that for some of us, auntie house like that, cousin house, everybody house like that, whole
Yeah.
neighborhood like that. That's just a normal day for us. But no, these being exposed to those type of adverse experiences causes you. And there's a study the CDC did with Kaiser Permanente. You are at a higher risk of having health issues as an adult because of these experiences, traumatic experiences that you had before the age of 18. So
Yes. So look, I know we short on time. Y'all let me know, but if y'all need me to shut up, I will. But I'm gonna give y'all one myth and one common stigma that I found in my research that I thought was really interesting. One of the myths is amongst Black people, being specifical, talking about the Black folks, anxiety is a choice or a personal problem. Many Black people believe that with the right attitude, prayer, they can get rid of mental health issues. Mental health conditions are serious health problems that a person cannot think or pray away.
hmm.
And y'all know, take it to the Lord. Bring it to him. Let him build a fence around you. It's his cross to bear. Lay it on the altar. Give
I mean,
10 more dollars in tithe.
no, anybody.
So I do believe that's kind of a loaded statement. So I do believe that when we choose to not talk about these
Mm-hmm.
things that have happened to us in our lives, we are then making a conscious choice
Mm-hmm.
to experience consequences, right, from
Mm-hmm.
that behavior. And that consequence can be the development of a mental health issue. I agree from that aspect. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that spirituality is a wonderful coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Having faith and praying, those are coping skills that can help
Mm-hmm.
you get through challenging times. Um, but Swain, we on the same page here. I can actually agree with that. They say that's a myth.
Yeah, that's a myth because let's be honest, y'all. A lot of times
Fear
fear
is a
is a tool used to control us. And a lot of times, come on, slavery was backed by the Bible. They used the Bible to condition us to think that as long as we suffer here on earth, our rewards in heaven will be greater. I really want to, the streets are paved with gold.
I mean,
We all get our own mansion, and y'all already know I am a firm believer. And my baby said it right here, but have your own relationship with God. In the
yeah.
good book, in Hallelujah, in the good book, it says faith without works. I've
Yeah,
told you guys
that's
that
smart.
from the beginning. God said,
That is
meet
smart.
me halfway. So you can't sit here and
You know,
say, huh? What you got? Because you know I got rebuttals. What you got, Sharon?
no. I'm just saying when we think about spirituality and when we think about prayer, it's about having a positive mindset. So when you
Hmm.
shift from having a hopeless, helpless, negative, woe is me mindset to thinking more positive, more hopeful, you will feel more motivated, and that will help
Hmm.
you come out of some mental health symptoms that you are experiencing. So
Yep. So hold on, I don't want to miss these. Rachel said that that is why it is so important to raise our kids different, care about their emotions and talk to them and love them. Definitely agree. And then Swain said, I started questioning when I was told to turn the other cheek. You right, because I only got two cheeks. And if you
gee,
slap them to the lower two cheeks, that's kinky. And I'm not with that freaky deaky stuff. So what was I supposed to do if I've been hit twice?
yeah, no, I don't see, and that's why I love who
Hmm.
said it. You have to have your own relationship with God. I don't, that's a whole nother show, Carl. I think you already had this show, but when you have your own personal relationship with God, the book is the book, right? And what
Hmm.
everyone else is regurgitating to you that they heard from the pastor and pastor and pastor, you have discernment and the ability to
Hmm.
choose to know what is right and what is wrong. Um, if you go to church and you are sitting there and you are listening and following and blindly following things that don't make a lot of sense
Hmm.
for you to apply to your life, then that's not spirituality at all. That's religion, and
Hmm.
that's another conversation.
And then look, I'm sorry. I know I said I was only going to do one myth. I'm gonna do two because I really think that this needs to be said. It's the myth that Black children do not experience mental health problems.
Who
That's false.
black?
There's that yeah that Black children do not experience mental health problems. That is false.
That isn't
Children can,
all
will,
children.
and do face mental health issues. And among Black children, the problem is especially acute with suicide rates rising in
Yes,
Black children.
yeah. I don't know where you find that foolishness from.
And I told you I was investigating, baby. I've been doing my work.
It's fool.
All
Somebody
right.
doing foolishness out there. All right. So
One, oh, go ahead.
the Swain says it's all mental. We choose to run to what hurts us the most, then question God. Okay, that's a point. Thanks, Shell. We need to learn what brings us pain, then push it away, leave it and move forward. I agree with that. All these kids now are going through it, all races, absolutely, all because of social media and shows. That plays a huge role.
Amen.
I agree with that.
And,
Y'all,
and
this has been a great show. I appreciate y'all hanging in here with us, joining in this conversation. I think it's really important for us all to think about our mental health, no matter, whatever your race is, doesn't matter. Think about your mental health, prioritize yourself first. Think about how you're feeling in your day-to-day life. And then think about, well, why am I feeling this way? Where is some of this coming from? Then think about all the things that you ignore, all the things you ignore, all the things you avoid, all the things that have happened to you that you are not dealing with. Think about all the things that you complain about on a day-to-day basis. Think about all of that stuff. All that negativity and stress is stored in your body. It weighs on you, literally like a ton of bricks. Think about
mhm,
everything that happened in your childhood between the ages of 0 and 18 that you had no control over. These things happened to you. Think about all of these things that you saw that a child should not have seen. All
mhm,
of these things are carried with you to up to this day. Look at your health. What is your health looking like? Is it great or is it really bad? Think about it. Think about it and understand that there is a connection between how you mentally feel, how the trauma that you have been through. There's a connection between mental health and your physical health.
a direct connection.
That was cute. I like how you wrapped it up. Look, I'm about to do mine. I'm about to do mine real quick. Hit them with the remix real quick. One thing I've learned, y'all know I'm goofy. I need humor. This show was really impactful, and I really hope that you guys appreciated it because it was labored in love, definitely labored in love.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I've learned in my journey is oftentimes we feel like we know ourselves
Mm.
when in fact you have no idea who you are. And I would really just encourage you to take the moment to get to know who you are. Take the moment to understand what it feels like to be angry. A lot of times we will ignore these emotions because it makes us feel some type of way or we don't like it.
Say it for
And
the people in the back. Say it for the people in the back. One more time. One more time.
we will. Sometimes we will ignore those feelings because we don't like the way it feels, so we push it to the back.
Mhm.
And you have to think your body is a melting pot and it's lidded, it's covered, definitely covered. But the more stuff that you guys try to hold within, at some point that top is going to pop
Yeah.
at some point. So, definitely in this journey of healing, in this journey of growth, and in this journey of just vibrating on a higher frequency, take a moment, a mindfulness moment, and learn who you are. Because you at 25 is not the same you at 18. The you at 38 is not the same as you 38 on your birthday. You're always evolving, you're always elevating, but learn to know the signs, the symptoms, and learn you. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself.
Mm.
You go read
Fact.
these last comments before we dip.
Yes, yes, yes. Where are we at? Where are we at here? We left off with the all kids. Yes, they are. Swain thanks you. And some more facts there and another thank you. And B Jennings says, so do I get the number or what? What are you talking about?
He talking to you. He don't need my number. He already got my number. That my homie. That my homie.
Jennings, me to you right now. You are great for my self-esteem. Okay. I appreciate it. I do because sometimes, I ain't always up and perky all the time. And I've actually had a rough week. So I
Amen.
really do appreciate you tonight. I do. All right. And thanks. Great show tonight. Thank you. Sharon play. Play what? What that mean?
He said you playing. You
Oh,
scrub.
man. Oh, I'm sorry. Love the dialogue. Thank you. Your light is now this popped up when you was trying to be serious and I almost
I
lost it.
know.
Swing. You
Shut up, Slay.
with my right eye.
And I looked at it like, oh my, it is. But it's my little audio thing, y'all. Every time I say something, it
Oh,
adjusts.
that's what's going on. Okay.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. My whole right side is shaking. Bless it. Be thy name. Thank you, Shell. All right. I do appreciate you guys. I've been ignoring my feelings due to depression and anxiety. Thank you, Granny Girl, for sharing.
Hold on, and I want to pause there. Granny girl, I don't know who you are, but we really do appreciate you coming to the show today. And we hope that if you have any further comments or questions, or you just want to learn a little bit more about yourself, if you don't know, we are licensed therapists, and we specialize in various things, but all concerning mental health. Reach out to us, join our Facebook group. It's T.D.T Talk. We are a community that loves to learn and enjoy each other's company. And then tune in every other Friday. So our next show will be June 2nd. But tune in then. I really appreciate that comment. And I really hope what we talked about really kind of shed some light on your anxiety. And so Granny girl, you ain't alone. We've
Yeah.
all been there, but we all needed someone to kind of guide us to that healing. So from TDT, we wish you the best in your journey of healing.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, let's Swain must open one's mind. You do have to have an open mind. Thank you, Donna. All right, so y'all, me and Carl, we will be funny and we'll be goofy, but tonight we really wanted to make sure that we gave you some information that you can use. So we hope that this was helpful. Please share with your friends. Share with your friends. Somebody else needs to hear this information. Maybe we say it in a way that's palatable where people can receive it and actually, you know, or maybe I'll think about doing something different. You never know. It may not only change your life, but it could possibly save a life. So,
Amen.
Right. Until the next time, co-host.
Yes. Same black channel, same black co-host. Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the truth, where the truth don't lie. 3 T's, no lie.
Thank you. Tune in next week. Same black channel, same black host, and we'll holler at you at the same black time. Bye.
Right.
Right.
Teach no lie.